So those of you who are going to church in the evening too, like me, I'm sure you're going to enjoy this. This is a Sunday morning, what I learned about sales this week. So hey, let's get into the episode for today. I'm recording straight to the podcast, YouTube video, YouTube channel, and on Instagram live at the same time. What did I learn about sales this week? So the reality is that I am very passionate about the subject of selling. It's a serious subject matter of mine. Sales is kind of like my destiny. Apart from the fact that I teach it, but I actually literally live it day and night, night and day, day and night, night and day. Those of you listening to me on Instagram, can you hear me, please? Can you hear me? All right. So let's get into it. What are some of the things that I learned about sales this week? If you can hear me, please say yes on Instagram. All right. So everybody says yes, I can hear you. So we start the class now. What did I learn about sales this week? The first thing I learned about sales this week is when a customer says to you, send me an email. Send me an email. So usually when a customer says to you, send me an email, what would the average person do? They will just send an email. But a pro and an elite salesperson is going to ask the customer. Now we've been talking now for the past 10 minutes or 5 minutes. So what exactly would you want me to put in the email to send to you? Because I don't want to send a general email that may come out to you as a spam. Customer says, oh, yeah. Okay. So in the email, I like for you to emphasize 1, 2, 3. Oh, fantastic. So typically, after I emphasize such things in that email, the aftermath of that is that it is good that we get on a call or get on a meeting so I can clarify what that is. So my calendar is free on Friday and on Wednesday. When is a good time for you to have a meeting? No, the client says, yeah, we can have a meeting on Thursday. Is 5 p.m. or 2 p.m. a good time for you? The client says, oh, 6 p.m. is okay. So you book that down. That is one thing that I learned this week. It's basically how to book appointment when the client says to you, send me an email. Because when they say send me an email, they are not asking you to send them everything about your product and your service. They are asking you for certain specific things, but they perhaps don't have the language for that when they say send me an email. That's the first thing I learned about sales this week. The second thing I learned about sales this week is when you go to a physical conference. Now, events are back. I go to physical events and all that. When you go to an event, and I encourage, if you're in sales or you're an entrepreneur, it's important that you go to conferences and events, because the more hands you shake, the more money you will most likely make. When you go to a conference, in fact, before you go to a conference or before you go to an event, it is important that you establish your goal for that event. Why are you going for that event? Is it to get a new client? Is it to book a meeting? Is it to sell a product? Once you have established that goal, you say to yourself, how many people would you want to meet in that event? 1, 2, 3. Once you have established that goal, you walk into the event. Of course, you are dressed properly. When you meet the person or the people you want to have a meeting with, take a selfie with them. Usually at conferences, people are happy. They like to take selfies with people. If you take a selfie with the person, immediately after the event, you can text them that picture. If you use an iPhone and like iMessage, you can text that photo and a little note. You can text them that picture and a note in it. In fact, you can even make it more relevant by saying, oh, fantastic meeting you at that event. And by the way, I saw your screensaver with your son. That was really, really amazing. Or I like how you talked about that book at that event. That was really, really amazing. You put that in a note. All right. So that there's immediacy. They know that, okay, you were the one that they met at that conference or at that event. Did you get that? Then immediately after that as well, you now ask for a meeting. You ask for a meeting. Immediately, there's immediacy there. You ask for either a Zoom meeting or a physical meeting, whereby you will then make your presentation. And off the back of that presentation, it may lead to the fact that there may be a follow-up call, or you may just close a sale that way. This was exactly how I got my first coaching clients in the city of London. So there's immediacy there. So that's the first thing I learned about sales. The third thing that I learned about sales this week is try to respond to customers' objections that they send to you via WhatsApp or email or DM. Respond to them with a video. So you are pattern interrupting, or even interrupting their pattern. When somebody sends you a text or a WhatsApp text that your product is too expensive, or that let me think about it on DM or by WhatsApp, they typed it on WhatsApp for you. Instead of you to type your response to them via WhatsApp as well, why don't you get your phone out and do a video? So the client says to you, it is too expensive, because you really want that client. You do a video and say, hello sir, hello ma, I fully understand when you say it is too expensive. If I was in your shoe, I would have felt the same way. But just so I can explain things better to you, can we get on a call? Just so I can explain things better to you, can we get on a call? You get that? Can we get on a call? So that video can interrupt that pattern and make things a bit easier for you. It's very, very powerful. I've tried it before. It's so great. The third thing that I learned from, that should be the fourth thing that I learned about sales this week, is that how you buy is usually how you sell. Now, let me give an example. So let's say you have been trying to reach out to a particular customer, right? And the gatekeepers have been giving you problems. The CFO, you want to meet with the CFO to sell a particular software, and the secretary of the CFO is not giving you time of day to meet with this person, or the secretary of the MD is not allowing you to meet with this person. Now, it depends on the kind of company that you run or kind of company that you work for. If you have a CFO in your company, or if you have a secretary in your own company too, call your secretary and ask your secretary that, do people call you to reach out to me or the MD of our company? The secretary says yes. The people that you allow to meet with our MD or to meet with our CFO, what kind of questions do they ask you? How do they come across? What makes you say to this person, meet with the MD, and the other person you don't allow them to meet with the MD? What that your secretary tells you will give you an idea of how you should call your next clients when you are calling the secretary to reach out to them. Did you get that? So that gives you a good idea. The other thing that I learned about sales which is the last thing I learned about sales this week, is trying to ask the impact question. The impact question. Before I unpack that, I have an online course that I taught this thing a lot, So I've got a 6-hour online course called Exactly How to Sell Anything to Anyone. I unpacked a lot of these principles there. The principle of sending a video as a response to a sales objection, how to go to conferences and how to close sales in events, where to get conferences to know which one is taking place in your city. So click on the link on my Instagram bio and get that online course, Exactly How to Sell Anything to Anyone. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on the podcast, it's going to be on the show notes. Click on that link and get the course, Exactly How to Sell Anything to Anyone. All right, so the last thing I learned about sales this week is trying to ask your customers the impact question. One of my favorite questions to ask customers is, what is it costing you right now? So an engineering company called me to come and do sales training for their staff. And the guy was going on and on. And then I asked him a question. I said, what is it costing you right now? The man says it's costing us a lot for not having a sales trainer. I said, like how much? He says it's a lot. I said, okay, let's walk on a safe journey. I say, can we say it's costing you $1 million a month? The client says yes. Or $1,000 a month. The client says yes. Okay, great. If it's costing you $1,000 a month, that means for 1 year it's costing you $12,000. Am I right about that? The client says yes. So you have seen the impact of not using your service to that organization. That's what I mean by when I say, what is it costing you right now? So I hope this was useful to you. These are the, I think, 5-6 things that I have learned about sales this week. If you apply them, it'll be useful to you. Again, I've got an online course that I just taught all of these things on. It's called Exactly How to Sell Anything to Anyone. It's 6 hours, and of course this video is like 10 minutes. All right, so you can dive into it at your own pace. All right, so click on the link on my Instagram bio to get that online course, or click on the link on the show notes in the podcast or on YouTube to get that course, and click and subscribe to the YouTube channel and on Spotify. All right, so those of you who are